All right, so let's do a video on some property analysis. Okay, so I'm going to pick a property. Now we're going to make this up as we go, but just to give you an idea of what you can do in here. So I'm going to type in 243, I think it's Moreland Street, Atlanta. I believe this is it. Let's see. Well, yeah, we'll go with that. That's fine. Okay, so here it is, 243 Moreland Way. That's the one. So that's the house I'm looking for. It's a 1,380 square foot house. Okay. Now let's say I wanted to dive in. Tell me a little bit more about this. There's a couple things I could do. I could click on details. Okay, it's going to show me a number of things. So I'm going to let's look at the history first. And you'll notice that this property was Joyce Mayton, 37, sold it to a WHN Ventures, which sold it to JZS Realty, which then looks like it got foreclosed on by Grand Coast Capital, who then sold it to GC Fund 1 Special Assets, who then sold it to Harmony Houses. So this property has had quite a little life cycle, all in the past. Looks like all of that happened in the span of about 15 months. How crazy is that? So, and right now it looks like it is actually on the market for $200,000. So whoever bought it, I guess this Harmony Houses did a rehab, and now it's on the market, and it'll show you, hey, here's some information, 1,380 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Shows me a little bit about the listing history. It looks like they've been trying to sell it since April of 2019. So that's kind of cool that it actually shows that. Actually, they tried to sell it. That way, there it is. So they started at 225. They've had some adjustments. It expired. So fail means it expired or withdrawn. Some adjustments. Not really sure what the difference between withdrawn and pulled off market is, but there you go. And shows me who the agent is, the office, phone number. So some pretty good information there. Shows me a little bit about the cash sale. And then, of course, different video talks about running comps. I can look at tax information to show me what's been going on there. You'll notice that the property tax and the tax amount is different. This area has city and state taxes. And it even has a rehab calculator. I've not used that tool yet, so that'll be for me to play with in another video. But you'll notice I can then actually do an analysis. So let's say I wanted to buy this property. Actually, before we do that, I can click on the pictures, and you'll notice I have all sorts of pictures. I can check out what's going on in there and so on and so forth. It's a pretty nice property. I can actually pull up a street view if it's available, and it is. And I can also click on a bird's eye view, which will give me that, and then I can rotate it around and so forth. Okay, I can take my labels out if I don't want anything to be labeled, or I can put them back on. Okay, and then if I want to go back to my pictures, my gallery view. Okay, but what if I want to do some analysis? It gives me the opportunity. Again, this is all hypothetical, but it's going to show me, hey, it's giving me some basic numbers. We're not actually sure what those are based on. But let's say we wanted to buy this for investment. Is it in foreclosure? No. And let's say I was going to buy this property for we'll just say $170,000. We're just going to pick that. And let's say I didn't like the paint color, so I was going to spend $2,000 to paint it. Okay. And so I could actually go in here and actually pick a number of things. Actually, better, instead of putting 2,000, why don't we just say, hey, let's say I wanted to expand the deck, and that was going to cost me 2,000. And let's say I did want to paint anyway. So let's say I spent a couple grand there, and maybe touch up the porch for $500, and just add a skylight just for the sake of putting stuff in. Okay, so. So where did this, oh yeah, there we go. So now it shows my improvements at 5,000, okay? So I'm putting in $5,000. We don't like this purchase price. Let's put it at like 150, so it looks at least a little more interesting. Okay. Okay. And my estimated market value, it's just pre-populating. All right, so I click next, I can then go in here and say, you know, am I going to do a mortgage? Let's say I was going to put 20% down. Okay, conventional loan for investment. So my down payment, I could put $34,000. And so if I subtract that, that would mean my loan amount is 136. And let's say we were going to do just a 30-year note, fixed rate of the mortgage. Let's say it was 5.5. And my first mortgage payment, let's say I was going to close at the end of the month, be June 1st. What frequency of interest compounded monthly? Is there a balloon? No. Is it adjustable rate? No. Okay, great. So I then look at this and says, okay, now it's showing me my closing costs. So it's, you know, it's pulling taxes, some title insurance. There's no survey needed, so we could take that out. That'll deduct from here. You know, there's not a flood zone. We don't need a title commitment. There's no application fee. Let's say there's no pests, and that is an insanely expensive title search. So let's put that down, and then we'll get rid of the processing. And let's say we go with that. Okay, so it cost me $5,800 to close. If I wanted to add a second mortgage, I could. And then I'll click next. And let's say this thing was going to rent for, well, it says $1,535 a month. That's what it's estimating. So we'll go with that. That's fine. Okay. If there was multiple units, we could put that in. Is there any other miscellaneous income? Let's say I was charging for, let's say I was charging for a shed in the back or something. Okay. And let's say I was going to charge $100 for that. Okay. And then if there was any management fees, let's say it was property managed at, we'll say 8%. Okay. And now, and you'll notice these numbers are changing as I go along. And let's say I was going to increase my rate each month. Let's say it was going to go up $75 a year. Okay. And then I'm going to click next and I'm going to look at my expenses. Now, most of this property is going to be insured, but the main thing is liability. Let's say it costs me $70 a month to insure this thing on a landlord type policy, and the tenant's paying for everything otherwise. There's property taxes, of course, and let's say I just wanted to account for 5%. Well, let's say 10% a month. So it's running for $1,535. We'll just call it $1,500. And let's say I want to allocate $150 a month for repairs. Okay. Okay. And then let's say I assume my expenses will go up, you know, $100 a year. We're just picking a number out now. And then I would click next, and it's going to show me this information here regarding its purchase price. And let's say the property value goes up 4% a year. Okay. Market value increase rate. In fact, we'll go super conservative. We'll call it 2%. Okay. Okay. And if I wanted to put my tax rate in here, I could. And depreciation, we're just going to quick straight line. Depreciation type, fixed dollar. And I could pick one, or I could just say percentage. And we could let's just pick over 30 years, whatever it is. I'm sorry, not 30 years, 27.5 years. You know what? Let's just pick a number, just again for the sake of. And let's say we were going to depreciate it. 27 divided by 170. That's, I don't know, 2, 3. You know, for the sake of exercise, we're just going to pick 3,000. And then we're going to say the analysis. Let's analyze it. Well, let's analyze it over, say, 10 years, because let's say I assume I'm going to own this thing 10 years. First payment on June 1st. Okay. So we've given it a whole bunch of information. And now let's see what it comes back with. So let's say I look at first the rental analysis. And it's going to pull this up, and it's going to give me this nice little report. And it's going to show me my miscellaneous income, and then my income summary. It's to show me $15.12 net per month, $18,146 and that's over the first year. So that's showing me just a little snapshot of what we're looking for. Okay, but let's say we want something a little more complete. So how about the cash flow? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And so now it's showing me, hey, in June 2021, here's my rental income, here's my other revenue, expenses, management, utilities, and it's showing me this year after year after year after year. Now, as you can see, there's all kinds of fields, so the better information you put in here, the better. But at the end, we have a nice little summary that says, here's everything that happened, my cap rate, net operating income, cash flow before taxes, after tax, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so you can take this information, analyze it. It's giving you a real nice picture of some of what you can do. Okay, we can look at taxes and deductions, but for the sake of keeping it simple, we're going to click complete, and it's going to show me all these reports in one. So again, the more information you give it, the better. But it's showing you quite a bit of information. And this is interesting, taxes and deductions, 10-year analysis, and it'll show me what's going on, billing structure, capital improvements, mortgage interest, and so on and so forth. So the point of this is you'll notice you can take any property in here and analyze it very, very deeply. And the better information you give it, the more complete, the better information it's going to give you. You'll notice after 1 year it doesn't love my return too much, but obviously it gets better over time. But if I saw that, I would say, I don't want to lose $981 year one. I'm going to go get a better price. Okay, and so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of power here. There's a lot of power here. Obviously, I used hypothetical numbers. Use real numbers. You can also click PDF reports and click downloads. The same things over here. And yeah, so if you click information, it'll show me some other basic information that's different from analysis. So I hope this is very helpful for you. Feel free to do some serious deep dives on your properties. It's going to give you some really great information that you may not be thinking about, or things to consider in particular for your buy and hold investments. All right, thanks.